coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back.
And cultural heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. Sank Poe of Mound Bio became the head baseball coach of Cleveland High School in 1971. He recalls the resistance he encountered from both white parents and the black community.
When I first went to Cleveland High, they found out that black coach was the coach these white boys. So daddy just But I was losing.
Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. If you or your business is interested in sponsoring programming on WUSM, we'd love to talk to you about the benefits and opportunities. You can get recognition for your business as well as the appreciation of the WUSM audience. The audience realizes your support provides the programming they listen to daily. In addition, our sponsorship rates are very cost-effective and tax-deductible. To learn more, call 601-266-4287.
Welcome back. Now, officially give a warm golden eagle welcome to Wes and Jenna. Hey, Wes and Jenna, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
Good.
Cold.
How are you doing?
Cold.
Right.
Thank you for being a guest on Southern Miss today. Please introduce yourself so we can get to know who you are and who you represent.
Awesome. My name is Wes Schaefer, and I go by they, them pronouns. I serve this institution as a coordinator of PRISM within the IME office, so I do all LGBTQ initiatives across this campus.
I am Jenna Dittman. I am the Multicultural Student Initiatives Graduate Assistant at the Office of Inclusion and Multicultural Engagement, IME. And what I do is I basically work with the student organizations of under-resourced and disadvantaged groups at USM, and also just any cultural affairs. I'll get my hands on it.
That's what's up. What does PRISM do for the students at USM?
Well, PRISM in particular just provides a safe, brave, accountable space. It's kind of like a twofold. We have an area on campus where we can be ourselves, and the students can come hang out. We always have snacks or good, energies around, so they can firstly do that. And then secondly, we provide events for students to where they feel like they have representation on this campus. And really there's a wide variety of events for them. And then lastly, we also do what's called Allies Training, where we have a 2-hour Allies training and teaching people how to be a better ally on this campus for the LGBTQ community. But we also throw in the cultural component, the ableist component. We make sure that we touch on privilege and ways to just be better and ways to be more inclusive on this campus.
Is it only just for students, or does it apply like to the whole USM campus, like faculty, staff? Does it apply to them, or does it apply to?
Yep. So for our office in particular, we have also what's called CCE, which is our community engagement. Okay. So all of our events are campus-wide, faculty, staff, and also community-wide. So really anyone is able to come to these events, and sometimes we even reach out for nonprofits or other, I would say, universities to come to these events as well.
It's also including the Gulf Park campus too.
Okay. Does PRISM push people to enjoy who they are as their identity?
Absolutely. I think one of the best things that I like about PRISM just coming in is people feeling like they have a home away from home, and even sometimes your home cannot be as comfortable as what you want. And I think that PRISM and IME just give students that, okay, I can just create my own space, I can be myself, and if anything, they can just come for guidance too, especially because a lot of times students aren't coming from the best backgrounds, or maybe they don't have a lot of people to look up to, so it's nice that they can have a space just to be themselves and to talk to people who are also just comfortable with being who they are.
So like a comfort zone to where you can switch over to home, but coming to USM, you feel more engaged with other students.
It's that safe self space.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, for Wes, as a coordinator of PRISM, what is your responsibility in that role?
Well, my responsibilities by my job title are very basic,
Yeah.
but I go above and beyond. So, the basic needs of my job are to put on events and to house my area, and to make sure that it's as inclusive as possible. But Wes's role is a lot different. I serve as also the vice president of the Spectrum Center in Hattiesburg, so I work with the nonprofits in particular. And I do also want to shout out that I do things across the state. Like today in Jackson, they are doing a protest for trans rights. And I like to take those things into consideration as my job title, because my role here is to do anything for the LGBTQ community. So I'm not only facilitating those events, making sure that I'm, making the community better, but I also want to say, on the everyday, like, I'm a listening ear. When the students come in and they have something they need to talk about, they need a mentor, or sometimes they just want someone to laugh at their jokes. That's me. That's my role on this campus, and I try to, fulfill that as much as I can every day. But again, the role is little, it can be, but I try to make it as broad as possible, be that listening ear, and just try to train anyone who wants to listen.
Okay. Jen, I got a question for you. How did your first welcome experience within being with IMM and in prison?
So the first time I actually got to know what IME was I was walking through campus and I saw an A-frame and it said inclusion and multicultural, and I didn't think that this university had it at first, because I transferred here from a very small school, and immediately I was like, okay, how can I be involved? And so I went to Pride Day at Spirit Park back in April of 2022, and I met Wes and then JB and a few of the students, Edge Star Eagles, and I was like, oh my gosh, everybody here is so beautiful and so brilliant. And then I started coming into IME, and then eventually I came in so much that I was like, okay, I'm gonna apply to work here. And then I started working as the GA, and I feel like this role fits my personal interests, but also just being able to advocate for all and any students in any way that Wes was saying, inclusivity, all of the identities matter. And right now I'm really trying to introduce a lot of international aspects and more indigenous aspects to IME, as well as looking at the community and how students that are maybe international, maybe not coming from Mississippi or the United States, how they can feel more comfortable and feel more involved in the broader Hattiesburg community.
I can relate because I also come from a transfer student from a small community. They don't have like much for us, like they'll get you towards the door, but not actually like get in with involvement and stuff. So I can like really understand, because coming to USM, I didn't know much about anything, but right, get like for the student involvement, for you get more into it with USM. What's the march that's happening right now in Jackson?
So right now we have a bill that's introduced to kind of keep those trans rights under, I would say, laws. And right now it's for youth to have gender-affirming care. So it's HB 1125, I believe, is the bill. And it's being introduced in Mississippi. And we are currently at Jackson right now, and in a protest to make sure that, this bill doesn't get put into place. I also want to touch on, just from the beginning of this year, we've had 300 bills introduced to control the autonomy of the LGBTQ's body and influence in the states. So, right now it's a big fight that we have to do this. It's not only for me and my younger self, but it's also for, my youth, that I want to make the world better for them. So I need to stand up and shout out.
Okay, is that the same for the gender affirming care? I think that's what it was.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So it's the bill is to control gender affirming care.
Jenna, what has been your success so far for the opportunity for Indigenous people?
So actually, this past November, I was able to be the co-chair committee member of Native American Heritage Month, and I worked really closely with the Center for American Indian Research and Studies with Dr. Tammy Greer, and actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that because this Saturday upcoming, we have a Medicine Wheel event on campus where the United Homa Nation members will be coming in and doing plant workshops at 10 a.m. this Saturday, February 18th, before the Hattiesburg Parade. And we have a few upcoming events for international communities at Hattiesburg as well.
That's nice. Hopefully I succeed there. Have there been any other time, either one can answer, but have there been any other time where a person got to an extreme where they didn't think they didn't belong here based on their identity?
You want me? I'll go first. I would say, a couple times a month I have individuals reach out about, people not using their correct pronouns. And that really affects the students when you're thinking about them expressing their identity in the way that they want to. And then, also for my Black trans individuals, I feel like sometimes, they should be represented a little bit more. And in that fight, sometimes they do feel like they aren't valued across campus. But I will say when they come into the IME and PRISM space, it's not like that. They do say, we do have a home here, and even though we're fighting every day to make it better for them, we can always make improvements and grow. But I would say, like, in our offices, that is their home. They will go out of their way to just walk through our offices because we do have that inviting feeling, that welcoming, positive, hey, how are you? Everyone's going to talk to you. And they value that in our office for sure.
I think that's a loaded question to answer because the amount of identities that people can have are so multifaceted, and the intersections of everything are no matter who you are, you're always going to feel left out at some point. And I think the biggest thing that IME overall in PRISM will want to make students aware of is that there is positivity in being different than what you see, being different than what you're shown on the social media or anything like that. And really, we want to celebrate those differences. We want to celebrate those things that make you, whatever that looks like. It matters to us. It matters that we strive for this inclusive excellence, and not even just academic excellence because we are at a university, but that community excellence as well, that you are included.
It was nice that you brought up our pronouns because I have a question I know probably the audience want to know.
Okay.
How to ask a person in a polite way about their pronouns so they won't feel like they've been misused, like, because when we come up to a person, you don't want to just assume their pronoun, but like how to ask, or in a proper way to ask.
Right. No, that's a great question. For me, it's sometimes you don't have to ask. It's just saying your own. So if I walk into a room and, I tell everybody, hey, I go by they, them pronouns, that's just creating a safe space for everyone else to know that they can disclose theirs if they feel like they want to.
Okay.
And I always say it leads with intentionality, right? If I want to know someone's pronouns, I can always just say, like, hey, I go by these pronouns, but, like, I'd really like to know you better. I would really like to know yours so that I can respect you in a way that you would like to be respected. And I think that goes with that open heart. If I'm leading with open intentions, an open heart, and I might be wrong. I'm the LGBTQ coordinator, and I do get it wrong sometimes. But, I'm leading with that open heart that says, it's okay, but I want to know you more intentionally by asking.
Yeah, it's good to, like, more respect a person towards, because you don't want them. Respect is earned, basically.
Right.
So you gotta respect.
Talk that way too.
I think it's important to have those really hard conversations about disclosing information, because you never know until you ask or until that person discloses it themselves. Same thing with racial and ethnic identity. Really, ethnicity is, you never really know until you talk to someone how they identify, and I think it's really important to walk in and, like what you were saying, self-disclose so that other people feel comfortable, because these conversations need to be had.
It's very important.
Now, for either one of y'all want to answer, what are the events that will happen either in IMM or in PRISM?
Okay, so I'll start with PRISM, and I'll let Jenna follow up with IME. So next week we have a Spill the Tea from 5:30 to 7. We have those once a month. It's just really where we talk about topics in the LGBTQ community. So we'll be talking about self-love and self-care. And then the following months, our biggest events coming up are our Allies training. Like I said, we have another Spill the Tea. But March 25th is our big event. We have a second chance prom from 5 to 8. Like just a little cue into what we're doing is we're having, amethyst stones around. We're going to have good energy. We're also going to have tarot card reading. So we're very excited. Our theme for that night is Once Upon a Time. So we really hope that students come in whatever they want, attire-wise. And then March 31st, we have our Pride Day from 1 to 5, and that'll be located in Prism and Weathersby Lawn. Those are our biggest events for this next semester. We hope everyone can come out for those. And then I'll pass the IMEs to Jenna.
So our nearest event right now is the Cultural Legends Ball in celebration for Black History or Black Future Month, and that is going to be in the Thad Cochran rooms A and B on the second floor from 7:30 or from 5:30 to 7:30, on Friday, February 24th. So the Cultural Legends Ball Friday, February 24th, in the Thad Cochran at 5:30. And then going into March, it is Women's History Month, and so we're going to have a Women's Summit from 1 to 5 in the Union Room B and IME space on March 29th, which is a Wednesday. We are also having alternative service break for anybody that is interested in doing some community service, or maybe you have an interest in volunteering in New Orleans, and that's going to be the biggest event that we have in March. And it's going to be from Sunday, March 12th to Saturday, March 18th. So please, if you're interested and you want to get involved, or you've never been to New Orleans, it's just kind of take a spring break trip. That's going to be alternative service break, so March 12th through March 18th. And please get in touch with IME for more information. And then we're going to have April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and we're going to be working with Title IX and the student organization SAPA, and shout out to those organizations for doing the work that they do. Also API, which is Asian American Pacific Islander and Indigenous Month, which is going to start on April 15th. It's actually a May Heritage Month, but since we end school a little bit, we're going to start pushing it back into April. And IME is hosting the Festival of Asian Heritage, which is Wednesday, April 26th. And it's going to be in the Baptist Student Union at 5:30. Please come. We're going to have food catered from Jude Thomas. We're going to have food from Indian Delight and Best Walk. Also coming up, and this is sponsored by IME, we are having the Holy Celebration, which is the Festival of Colors, and it is a Hindu tradition, and that is going to be at Spirit Park Saturday, March 4th at 3 o'clock.
Is there anything that we didn't cover that y'all would like to share more with about your organizations?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, I would like to reach more of my students and just tell them to come out. Come hang out with us, come see our events, and even the students that, don't identify as LGBTQ, we accept everyone in our office. So it doesn't matter, and we just want you out, hanging out with us. Shout out to our 8 student organizations that we have. There's a wide variety. You can find them on our website. Those 8 student organizations also put on a ton of inclusive excellence meetings or events. And please go onto our social medias and follow them at Southern Miss Prism and at IME_USM. And check us out. We have a ton of great events coming up, and we would love to see everyone at them, faculty, staff, and community members.
Thank you both for coming for today and providing a voice to our Eagles. Coming up, we got Charlie Ratrell reports on Tati Davis and Destiny Brown joining the USM sidebar team. Check it out right after these words from our sponsors.
Tata Davis and Destiny Brown said their goodbyes to Southern Miss softball last season as some of the best to ever represent the Golden Eagles, but it turned out to be the beginning of a new chapter in their story at USM. First-year head coach Natalie Poole welcomed Davis and Brown on the staff as assistant coaches for the 2023 season.
I can't say enough about Destiny Brown and Tata Davis. When I told our athletes that they were going to be staying with us and being around our team and working on our masters and still finishing up an undergrad, they were over the moon excited.
Davis and Brown led the Golden Eagles in almost every offensive category and set records in their final season. Davis thought about coaching after her playing career, and the decision came down to a simple interest.
I really like helping people. I know what I could do and what I could contribute to it, so I really like helping people in areas that they need help with.
The pair are still learning all about coaching, but have had a direct impact with their connections to former teammates.
I learned about who they are as quality people in terms of just who they are and character-wise, but also as athletes. It's made a huge difference because the girls respect them a lot.
And on the other hand, Poole has taught many things to the former players that have helped in their transition to coaching.
I'm comfortable being vocal on the field to the players because she's helped me be that way. Normally I kind of stay to myself and don't be as vocal, but now I've started being more vocal.
That level of communication from Davis and Brown has brought a sense of trust between the team and the new coaching staff.
They can confide in me and I can tell them, hey, look, you need to work on this without them getting upset or aggravated like I'm trying to tell them something wrong. I feel like they really trust me and they'll put their all into me as I will put my all into them.
This season is just the pair's first swing at coaching, but Davis says it's something that she could see herself doing in the future.
It's different for sure, but I've definitely thought about it or else I wouldn't, stick around. So we'll just see what the future holds. Hopefully something comes into play for me.
You can catch the former Golden Eagles in action as coaches in the dugout this season at the softball complex. This has been Charlie Luttrell for the 4th Street Sports Show.
On Southern Miss Radio.